I used to think that the future of backpacking was mostly going to be about better gear. Lighter packs, better fabrics, maybe a few weird gadgets that looked kind of futuristic. The more I started thinking that the bigger change may not be the actual gear that we carry. It may actually be how much we let the gear think for us. The planning, the warnings, the decisions, maybe even the judgment. And after being on the trail for about 30 years, I'm starting to wonder if backpacking isn't starting to split into two different experiences. One that stays simple, and one that becomes a bit more assisted. Some of this is already starting to happen, and some of this may actually sound a bit strange. Don't get me wrong, backpacking has always changed. Because I don't want you to think that this is one of those videos where I say everything new is bad. That's not really how I feel about it. Packs have gotten lighter, shelters have gotten smaller, sleeping pads have gotten warmer, stoves have gotten easier, GPSs came along, our phones have turned into maps, and satellite communicators have become something that a lot of us carry without even thinking anything about it. And honestly, a lot of those changes were good. They helped us carry less weight. They helped us stay safer. They've even helped us make better decisions. But here's the difference that I keep coming back to. Most of that gear helped you. It didn't replace you. A lighter pack didn't decide where you needed to camp. A warmer jacket didn't tell you where to turn around. A better stove didn't tell you that that storm was moving in faster than you expected. You still had to pay attention. You still had to make the call for yourself. You still had to be the backpacker. And I think that's where this next shift feels different. Because now we're moving into gear that doesn't just help us carry less. It may actually start helping with the decisions. So when I say backpacking experiences may be splitting into two, I don't mean old gear versus new gear. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's more like two different ways of experiencing the trail. One future is what I would call timeless backpacking. Simple gear, skills that you build over time, a shelter that you understand, a stove that you know how to work, a map that you actually read, and decisions that you actually have to make yourself. The other future is assisted backpacking, AI route planning, satellite communications, smartwatches, weather alerts, biometric data, and systems that quietly guide more of the trip. And I want to be fair here. For a beginner, that could actually be really helpful. If you're new to backpacking, the hardest part is often not walking down the trail. It's figuring out where to go, what to bring, how far to hike, how much water to carry, what the weather actually means, and what you'll do if something actually goes wrong. So if technology helps people feel more safer and confident, then I think that matters. I really do. But here's the question I keep coming back to. Do the tools help us become better backpackers? Or do they slowly make us less responsible for the decisions? Because once gear starts helping us decide, the trail experience actually changes. And the interesting thing, I don't think that the assisted future starts with something wild. It starts with a lot of tools that a lot of us already carry. A trip planning system may not just ask where you want to go. It may look at your fitness, the forecast, water sources, fire bans, bailout points, and whether or not the plan actually matches your experience level. And I'll be honest, that could be useful. A lot of beginners don't need more random advice from 30 people online. They need a realistic plan. They need to know, can I actually do this trip? Then you start thinking about something like an AI trail mentor. Not a robot walking beside you. More like your phone, watch, or satellite device watching the bigger picture. Maybe it says, you're falling behind on your pace. Maybe it says the storm risk is going up after 2 p.m. Or maybe it tells you that the better camp option is still 2 miles ahead. Or what if it tells you that you may not have enough water for the next stretch and that you should fill up here? That could prevent mistakes. It could help some people avoid some bad decisions, but it also changes the experience. Because at some point the question becomes, are you making the decisions? Or are you mostly just following a prompt? And again, I'm saying this as someone who uses technology. I use phone maps. I check weather apps. I like having a satellite communicator when I'm going into more remote places. So I'm not against the tools. But I do think there's a difference between using the tools and needing the tools to do the thinking for you. And if you push that out 30 or even 50 years, this starts to get really interesting. I don't really know what backpacking is going to look like in 50 years. I don't think anybody does. But when you look at where AI, safety tools, health tracking, and materials are already going, some of this doesn't feel impossible. It just feels early. One example that I've seen is assisted movement. And I'm not talking about some giant Iron Man suit. I'm talking about lightweight help for knees, hips, or your legs that reduces strain on climbs and descents. That could matter for older hikers, injured hikers, adapted outdoor users, search and rescue teams, or someone who thought that backpacking was no longer possible for them. And I don't want to just brush that off, because that could be a good thing. If some kind of assisted gear helps somebody get back on the trail or stay on the trail longer, that matters. But it does raise a big question. If assisted movement becomes normal, does that change what we consider backpacking? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But it's definitely worth thinking about. Then there's biometric safety. Imagine your watch or your wearable noticing that your body is struggling well before you're actually willing to admit it. Dehydration risk, altitude stress, hypothermia risk, overexertion, or even just poor recovery. That could absolutely save lives. A lot of bad decisions happen when people are cold, tired, hungry, scared, or trying to convince themselves that they're okay. And if a device can watch that early on, then I can see the value in that. But what happens if we start trusting the device more than we do our own judgment? What happens if the watch says we're fine, but the mountain says we're not? Then there's augmented navigation. Maybe future glasses or displays show a trail line in front of you. Water sources, storm direction, distance to camp, hazard areas, where you left the trail. That would be useful, especially in bad weather, snow, or confusing terrain. But would people still learn to read the land? Would they still notice drainages, ridge lines, slope direction, clouds building, or even the wind shifting? Or would they just follow the line? And I think that may be one of the biggest questions in this whole video, because there's a difference between having more information and having better judgment. And then there's the AI wilderness companion. And I don't mean a robot dog carrying your tent. I mean a quiet system that knows your route, your pace, the weather, your body, and maybe even your normal behavior. It might notice that you're slowing down. It might notice that you haven't eaten anything. It might tell you to stop, put on a layer, drink some water, or maybe just reassess before you keep going. And honestly, that could be helpful. But it also feels a little strange, because part of the reason that I go backpacking is to get away from all of the voices telling me what to do. And I'm not sure that I want one more voice following me into the woods. Then you get into adaptive gear. Maybe it's clothing that vents as you sweat, insulation that adjusts as temperature drops, packs that shift load differently on climbs and descents. Some of that may sound strange right now, but a lot of gear that we use today would have sounded strange decades ago as well. So I don't think the question will be, will these tools be useful? A lot of them probably will be. The harder question is what will they train us to stop noticing? If backpacking becomes more assisted, we could gain a lot. More beginners may feel more confident to be able to try. Older hikers may stay on the trail longer. People with injuries or mobility limits may get access to places that felt out of reach before. Weather decisions may improve. Some preventable mistakes may actually be prevented. And I don't want to dismiss all of that, because if you've ever felt nervous before a trip, or overwhelmed by gear choices, or unsure whether you're ready, then you know confidence matters. But there's another side to it. We may lose some of our skills of map reading, some weather judgment, some understanding routes, some self-awareness, some problem solving, and maybe even some quiet. Because backpacking is not just walking with a pack, at least not to me. It's paying attention. It's noticing when the sky changes. It's knowing when your pace is too ambitious. It's knowing what cold feels like before it becomes too dangerous. It's knowing when to push and when to stop. It's making small mistakes that teach you before they turn into big mistakes that could hurt you. A device can support that. It could warn you. It can give you more information. But it can't fully replace the process of becoming someone who fully understands the trail. And that's where I think I land on this. I'm not against the tools. I just don't want the tools to become the backpacker. The best tools should help us build judgment, not replace it. I don't think the future of backpacking is really old gear versus new gear. And I don't think it's traditional backpackers versus tech backpackers. I think the real question is much simpler than that. How much assistance do we want between us and the trail? One future is simple. Not easy, but simple. You carry gear that you understand. You build skills slowly. You learn your body. You learn the weather. You make decisions. And you understand that uncertainty is just part of being out there. The other future is more assisted, safer in some ways, easier to start, more guided, more connected, and maybe more accessible to people who wouldn't normally go. And I can see the value in both of these. If technology helps somebody get out for the first time, then that matters. If it helps somebody stay safer, that matters. If it helps somebody keep backpacking later in life, that matters. But I also think that the biggest future of backpacking may not be ultralight. It may be confidence. Not confidence because an app told you that everything was fine. Real confidence. The kind that comes from understanding your gear, your route, your limits, and what you'll actually do if things don't go exactly as planned. Technology can help with that, but confidence built only on devices can be fragile because batteries die, screens break, weather changes, routes get confusing, and sometimes the trail asks you a question that gear can't answer for you. So my hope for the future is not that backpacking stays exactly the same, because it never has. And my hope is not that we reject every new tool, because that doesn't really make sense either. My hope is that the future helps more people get outside without turning backpacking into something where we stop paying attention, because backpacking is getting more advanced. But the reason that people need it is also getting more human. People need quiet. They need space. They need to feel capable. They need to be able to step away from the noise and remember that they can handle hard things. And that's the part I hope that we don't lose. Now I'm curious where you land on this. Are you drawn to the more simple, timeless version of backpacking? Would you welcome a more assisted future if it made the trail more safer and accessible? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Drop it down in the comments below, because I don't think every backpacker is going to answer this the same way. And if you're newer to backpacking, that's really what this channel's about. Helping you build real confidence. Not just buying more gear, just learning how to become more capable one trip at a time. Because whichever future backpacking is headed to, I think the goal should be the same. Get outside, pay attention, and don't let gear do all the thinking for you. As always, guys, I hope this was useful. And hopefully one day, I see you out on the trail.